Welcome back. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has undertaken a working meeting with Israeli President Reuven Rivlin and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on the second day of his three-day visit to Israel. The jam-packed schedule began this morning with a reception at the President's residence in Jerusalem. Our correspondent Jordana Miller is in Jerusalem. Jordana, you've been following Modi's movements for us all day. What's the latest?
Hi, Tracy. Yeah, the latest is really the press conference that was held here just a short while ago between Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the Indian President Modi. The two leaders signing an array of documents, of memorandums of understandings, agreements in a variety of fields, in space, in tech, in water conservation, in energy. And those are agreements that really symbolize what this trip was about, which was really strengthening and enhancing, upgrading, we could say, ties between Israel and India, especially on the economic front. Now, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called this a marriage made in heaven, but one that would be implemented on earth, meaning that there are so many bonds between Israel and India. They're penchant for technological innovation. They're both democracies. They're both very concerned with the future of their people. Of course, Modi has 1.3 billion people to feed. So take a listen to what the Prime Minister had to say about what these two countries are going to do together beyond just Israel and India.
We're talking about also cooperation in third countries and actually working together to better the future of the people of Africa. India is present there, Israel is present and coming into Africa, and we think that by joining forces in various areas that I just discussed and others, we can help the people of Africa as well. So this is very, very exciting.
And Jordana, what else are we hearing from Modi over the course of the 2 days that he's been touring around Israel?
Well, Modi has really thanked Israel for such a warm reception. He also extended an invitation to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, his wife and his family, to come visit India. We don't know if the Prime Minister has officially accepted that invitation, but it's quite likely that that will happen. Now, Modi, of course, set off some controversy because he decided, unlike other Indian officials, not to go to Ramallah, not to meet with any Palestinian leaders. But he did briefly address the issue of peace. Take a listen.
We also discussed the situation in West Asia and the wider region. It is India's hope that peace, dialogue and restraint will prevail.
Jordana, we're almost at the end of the day here in Israel, bringing the second day to a close, but we know one more day on Modi's schedule. What can we expect?
Right. So tomorrow morning, Modi and Netanyahu will take a helicopter ride to Haifa, where Modi will pay tribute to some of the Indian soldiers who lost their lives in World War I. There's a cemetery in Haifa where they are interred. They will then travel south to get a demonstration, a tech and innovation demonstration. Some of Israel's most cutting-edge technologies will be put on display for Modi. And then he will end the day in Tel Aviv and head off to the airport sometime around 5 p.m. local time.
Okay, Jordana Miller, thank you so much for that live reporting from Jerusalem there. With me in studio, our senior Middle East correspondent, Mohammed Al-Qasim. Mohammed, we know that Mahmoud Abbas is in Paris and he's expected now to meet with Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in Cairo. We know that there was backflipping whether he was or was not going to meet with al-Sisi. What more can you tell us?
Well, first, the Egyptian administration sent a message to President Mahmoud Abbas's team saying if President Mahmoud Abbas is coming to Egypt, there are certain subjects that will not be on the agenda or on the table to be discussed, which is the relationship between Egypt and Hamas, Egypt, Hamas and Dahlan, and the recent development of relationship between the three in recent weeks. President Abbas then said that he will not go In fact, the whole trip was only penciled in just last week. It was not part of this previously planned trip. It was penciled in. It was to be done sometime toward the end of his tour. It was canceled yesterday, but according to our sources, it was put back again on the agenda. We don't know if still these subjects will be discussed by between President Abbas and President Sisi. We're talking about the Hamas-Dahlan relationship and the support of Egypt to President Abbas's nemesis, Mohammed Dahlan. Keep in mind that President Abbas is unhappy with the way some Arab countries, among them Egypt, has been supporting the Palestinian opposition, and he believes that those actions undermine his authority. But we'll have to wait and see. According to his team, the event is back on for Sunday.
Okay, well, the Israeli-Palestinian crisis, of course, are front of mind all around the world. In fact, the British Parliament is set to begin a debate on just that issue. This will be the first time the issue will be debated in the House of Commons since the recent election that saw Theresa May lose her majority and become reliant on other parties to vote with her party on a case-by-case basis. Joining us now from London is our UK correspondent, Jonathan Sacerdoti. Jonathan, with Theresa May so weakened at the moment, what is the angle of this debate on Israel? And without a Conservative majority, can she expect to win?
Well, that's a good question, and this is in fact a general debate. Those are specifically organised by the Backbench Committee, which is left over from the last Parliament. So this isn't a topical debate. It's not being called at the moment because of any specific piece of news. And the motion for debate is suitably vague, as is always the case with general debate. This House has considered Israel and Palestinian talks. That's it. So that means that the debate will generally allow for people to discuss issues surrounding those topics as they would like to freely, and then usually the backbencher put this to the committee so that it would come up at some point for them to be able to air their views and discuss with others what they think.
Right, and are talks between the Palestinians and Israelis really a foreign policy priority for the UK at the moment?
Of course not. Of course, the British Parliament, and more or less every British Parliament, has said for some time that they do support a two-state solution and they wish to see a peaceful resolution to the conflict. But this is fairly low down on the list for Theresa May and her government at the moment. You mentioned there her weak government, her lack of majority. Means that she's very unlikely to push controversial issues such as talks between the Israelis and the Palestinians, especially at a time when Donald Trump and America seem to be pushing this themselves. Britain can very certainly take a back seat on these issues and let things go on as needed while they concentrate on the more pressing issues of Brexit and negotiation with Europe.
OK, Jonathan Sacerdoti, our UK correspondent, reporting for us from London there. We are taking a short 3-minute break, but a lot more to come on the other side of this, so stay with us.